chair, go ahead. Not necessary for you to sit on the floor. Bismillah. Yes, that's it. What are you saying?
A couple of times in the Sohbat you said that Islam is not like a Buddhism to make us to be like dead feeling, not to feel anything. I'm asking when a feeling comes or emotion comes, especially if it's coming to us unexpectedly, like out of nowhere, how do we at that time tune it so that we make it to be for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that we don't let it to take us off of the way?
Emotion? Like what?
Like you remember something from when you were young and it makes you feel sad.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Ask yourself, why am I feeling sad? Your thing is always to ask. To ask yourself. To question yourself. That's what they're going to do in the grave. They're going to question you. Why? So you're going through something. You're going to question yourself. Why? You feel sad. Why am I feeling sad? Then you find the reason. There's no real reason. Say astaghfirullah. For yourself, you don't accept things only at face value. Try to go deeper. Understand? For others, give them a break. Accept at face value. For yourself, no. You have to ask. Have your dessert. Have the lokma, inshallah. Who brought the lokma? Fatiha. Have your Rasul. Thinking, asking, trying to find the answer. Don't be satisfied with very easy answers. Especially with something that your heart is saying, this is not all that there is something there. Not everybody sees the sunset the same way. Same thing, the sun is setting. The stars are coming. Not everybody sees it the same way. The blind man is not going to see that. He's going to deny the reality of that. The one who is just busy with himself and his own problems is not going to see the beauty of that. The children and the mothers with the children, I've already said, you should go back because they're getting very tired. You shouldn't be here. To bring them either to Shaykh Effendi's house or to go back. I made arrangements for Fridays to be somewhere else. They should not be there. And the believer who sees the sun setting, it is something else. So how do you want to see that now? How do you want to see it? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that over and over again. The natural phenomena that is happening around. And Allah is saying this is for men of understanding. For men of understanding. Do you want to become men of understanding or do you want to be Instagram person? Do you want to understand according to running after ego 24 hours with that social media? Complete ego, completely. Or do you want to understand that according to the successors of the prophets, the awliya Allah, to see what they're seeing? That's why sohbah is important, companionship. Up till today, and I think about it time to time. I remember once Shaykh Effendi was in, I believe, either Cyprus or Turkey, and he was looking at an old masjid that was built. And he was looking at it from outside, and he was just looking for a while and thinking. So many people thought, oh, Shaykh Effendi is seeing something that is opening up, some secret that is coming, something. And he says, no, I'm looking at that. Physically, I'm looking at it. So even when you're following, you may come to the wrong conclusion. You understand? You have to be very careful when you're following, not to assume I'm following, so everything I'm doing is correct. No. So even in sohbah, in companionship, you have to be careful. Because Shaykh Effendi is looking like that, other people are thinking he's seeing different things. But Shaykh Effendi was looking at this wall that was built, and he's thinking, why so many ways, in so many different countries, so many different cultures, when they build a building or they build a wall, they're going to put big rocks, smaller rocks, and small rocks on top, correct? It's always been like that. But this particular one, it is the opposite. He's seeing there are smaller rocks as the foundation, medium size, and the one at the top, it is big, huge. And he's thinking, why is this? You see, this is looking at something that is natural, or something that is man-made, something that is physical, you understand? And trying to understand now Allah. He's looking, that he's starting to think, and he understands that this area, he says, it is prone to earthquake. The earth is always moving. Tremors. Because of the small rocks, small stones that are there, every time it moves, the small rocks now will move and it will adjust itself to how the earth is now moving, and the bigger rocks and the huge rocks on top is now going to press it down even stronger so that the structure doesn't move. Only the bottom it is moving a little bit. You know, like over here when they build tall buildings, they put all those scaffolding that is made from steel, from metal, right? But in China and different parts of Asia, they make it from bamboo that they tie together. They tie in bamboo, and people are climbing up. Then they're understanding that this is safer to use a bamboo, because now when you are up that height, with the wind that is coming, with the humidity, with everything that is happening in the natural world, that is more flexible. It is safer than to put something that is steel. So Shaykh Effendi was seeing this and said, oh, now I understand. These people from hundreds of years ago, because they're watching, because Allah says, think, watch. And they're watching how the world is, and the hikmah comes from Allah, how to deal in instead of fighting against whatever Allah has made. And he saw one part of the wall that was crumbling down, and he says, today's governments, they think they're so smart, they try to do something better. They made it the opposite way. They made it very big rocks in the bottom and smaller rocks. He says that part, they can never rebuild it. It kept falling down and falling down. Meaning that sometimes people who really watch what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling them to see, they will come up with things that you cannot imagine, that may go against perceived knowledge or perceived logic. But it is actually the best way of doing it. So inshallah Rahman, that's what we're trying to do. May our foundation always be our Shaykh, inshallah.